Hello and welcome to Cox Connections. I'm your host, Gary McCullum, Senior Vice President and General Manager for Cox Virginia. In May of 2013, the City of Chesapeake held an early education business forum which focused on the direct impact that early education has on the workforce, a critical factor in the success of our region's economic future. Stephen Wright, the Director of Chesapeake Economic Development, was among the group of local business leaders, elected officials, and public school representatives to discuss why early education matters to the business community. Here's what he has to say.
So some of you are probably asking yourself, why is the economic development guy talking about early education? Well, I'm here because early education and child care is truly an economic development issue for us. When we're going around the globe trying to talk to businesses and trying to get them to invest in Chesapeake, the first question they ask is, what type of workforce do you have in your city? And is that workforce going to be the type of workforce I need to operate my business? Now, those businesses are looking for key skills: critical thinking, problem solving, the ability to learn and adapt to new technology, because we all know that technology is constantly changing. Well, studies show us that 85% of a child's ability to learn these skills comes before the age of 5. So we're talking about a real workforce development, economic development issue here. When we look towards the future at what the job market is going to look like several years from now, we look at the year 2020, and we can see that 63% of the jobs in 2020 will require a college degree. Now, currently in Chesapeake, only 28.5% of our residents have a college degree. So there's opportunity for us to increase that number. And I think that early childhood education is a way to do that. Now, I've talked a little bit about the future, but this is an issue that impacts us right now. 67% of Chesapeake families have all of the adults working outside the home. So child care is an important issue. There ought to be outstanding, affordable opportunities for our citizens, our parents, right now. We don't want them to have to worry about child care. So that's why this is a critical issue, not just for the future, but for today, for right now.
Due to the urgent need for increased public investment in early education, Elevate Early Education, also known as E3, was formed to make it a state priority. President and CEO of E3, Lisa Howard, joins me now to talk about how this organization is leading the charge in transforming our approach to early education. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Well, thanks for having me, Gary.
Well, that was a great piece by Stephen, and clearly he gets the connection between early education and the current day and future impact that'll have on the workforce. Many people recognize your work with Smart Beginnings, which now has been transitioned to a municipal-led coalition throughout Hampton Roads, so congratulations on that.
Yes.
Can you briefly talk about where Smart Beginnings left off and where E3 now is kind of taking up the reins on this effort around early education?
Sure. So as you heard, Chesapeake is off and running, and the other 4 communities are off and running as well. They are taking the initiatives that we ignited through Smart Beginnings Southampton Roads. We also have some other strategic partners, such as Tidewater Community College. They will continue to lead the effort with the Quality Rating Improvement System, which lets parents know what quality looks like on a 1 to 5 rating scale. Also the Teacher Scholarship Program. We have the Small Business Development Center within the Hampton Roads Chamber that will continue to work with these small businesses that are early education programs.
And that's creating jobs.
And that's creating jobs, and it's helping them, it's a mini MBA program to really help them improve the business side. And then that's a precursor to being part of the Quality Rating Improvement System. And then, of course, Centera will continue doing the work in terms of reaching parents at the time of a child's birth, which is a critical component because we've got to arm parents with information. And so we are very fortunate. As you can see, Chesapeake is just one of the examples, but we've got strong leaders in each of these municipalities that are really just running with the work that we ignited. So it's exciting.
We just heard Stephen Wright in Chesapeake talk about the importance of having this skilled, competitive workforce for our local businesses. What's keeping us from actually getting there, from attaining this?
Well, I think honestly we have to start thinking differently about the way we're educating our children. that thought that when they get on that school bus, that's when the learning truly begins for kindergarten.
Yeah, magically everything starts at
Right.
6
Yeah.
6 years old.
And what we now know is 90% of a child's brain is developed before the age of 5. So we've got that window of opportunity to get it right. And education begins, long before kindergarten. And I think the other thing, the big buzzword out there right now is the achievement gap. How do we eliminate the achievement gap? What can we do to make sure, that our kids are successful? And quite honestly, we need to let the research, inform our policies.
And so E3 is attacking this issue. I mean, that's the
Yes.
solution, to take a more business principle approach to
Yes.
addressing this issue.
Yes, it's a statewide advocacy movement that is focused on making young children and their education a priority. And, as you know, the achievement gap begins at about 9 months of age. So, poor kids come behind middle-income kids. Middle-income kids come behind wealthier children. And right now in our state, 62% of our fourth graders are not reading proficiently. And third grade reading levels are a strong predictor of whether a child's going to be successful academically as well in life.
What can members of the Hampton Roads community do to join E3 in this effort to fix this issue?
Children don't have a voice. And parents, unfortunately, of young children are not politically active. They're very busy raising their children, as they should be. And so we really need to begin electing people that are going to make education and make early education a priority. And so using your influence, talking to elected officials, from the mayor to city council members, city managers to delegates and senators, we've got to
making
make
kids a priority.
this a priority.
Lastly, their parents with young
Yes.
children, there may be people expecting children. What should they know about this issue?
Parenting is a very humbling experience. And so we have created, if you go to the e3va.org website, we have a brochure that really walks you through 0 to 5, what you can do, simple activities to help your child be ready. Then it also talks about preschool, kindergarten transition, and really helping children to make that leap. And so hopefully this will be a great resource for parents.
Great. Melissa, thank you for all you're doing in this area, and we are making progress. After the break, summer slide affects millions of children each year in this country, but it doesn't have to. Learn how you can keep your minds active during these 3-month breaks from school. Stay tuned for more Cox Connections.